Hey guys, welcome to RuffStuff podcast number 20. I'm Garrett, RuffStuff CEO. I've got Zach, the RuffStuff president, with us.
Hey.
And today our guests are RuffStuff head of R&D Wyatt and our shop foreman Chris. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do here, how long you've been here, and maybe your background in wheeling. Chris, go ahead.
Just because the order you said it in, I think maybe we'll start the background in wheeling first. I'd say I just had a lot of different outside people locally kind of pushing the idea of wheeling onto me. I never really saw it as a younger person, but as I grew up, more and more people were. I mean, I knew I liked vehicles. I just didn't really know what. I knew big tires were cool. For sure, I think as a kid, just with monster trucks, you grow into that, and you always ended up, I kind of wanted something that I could just destroy and have. And I think that's probably why even I went into the older vehicle, right? That's already kind of beat up a little bit. And I think I really got into it by my buddy taking around his backyard, and he just kind of showed me all the parts because, I guess, the people that really got me into it were just some local people here in Loomis that actually, were probably not very liked by the neighbors because they're always just working on projects. So they had all these axles and engines in their backyard. And finally, my buddies, we're in high school. I'm taking welding shops. And he finally just takes me around. He's like, dude, we could build one and we could go take it to the woods this summer. So that kind of got us started. And he's like, there's a tub over there. We don't need a title for it. It's been out of registration for over 10 years. It's totally cool. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's from the 1940s. He's like, there's a set of axles. And he just goes into detail, and then that's when he, first kind of sparks. And he really tells you like the cool details and why these old parts been kept, and like the background behind like the Buick V6, all the cool add-ons that are with it, and it really kind of broke it down from like an assembled vehicle that's, very overwhelming, and you really can kind of break it down to what your essentials are and what it really takes to go have a good time. I think just from there on, and then, given the opportunity, really, really got me interested. And then I'd say I've been hooked ever since. And then, shortly after, I found this company actually in the same town that I was going to high school in and having these projects. I didn't really know exactly what they were about, but I knew that they had an off-road, kind of a presence. And, it was a lot of what I was kind of going into. So I was like, this is going to be a great opportunity for me. This is definitely going to be my foot in the door. And from there on, I applied, and I didn't really hear anything good back. I wasn't 18 yet. I didn't know, because I heard, McDonald's kind of will start hiring you before you're 18. So I was like, maybe if I just keep pushing, and then finally I actually turned 18, and I was probably coming back weekly, just waiting to hear back. And I probably took 5-6 weeks. And I think by the third week after me being 18, I think we finally were able to start paperwork, and I was offered $10 an hour, and I was so stoked. I remember how stoked I was. I was in the Mallory's office, the HR, and they offered it to me. And I was getting hired, and they're doing it, and I started choking on a cup of water I had because how stoked I was. But I think ever since, and I just took every job that I tried to do. I really just I really loved it, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't think it was anything was really going to come of it or pay off. But that's kind of how this company is they really find and appreciate people that have the drive. So with that being said, I've been here 7 years now.
And what's your job now? Like, what's your day to day?
I'd say I became the shop foreman about 2 years ago, and that's definitely evolved since then. And we're trying to get my lead welder closer to that position. And now that we're starting to get into a more machining side and bringing everything in house, which is what we're totally proud of, is what keeps us, a lot of us here and a lot of us going on the day to day. So I guess it's, I'll probably be changing my business cards one of these next times it comes around. But I guess you'd be, machine shop lead or some extent to that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Wyatt, sir.
What's up? I've been here for 6 years. I I got into wheeling. My first car was a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a ZJ. Yeah, I always like working on stuff. My dad's shop, welding, building stuff. So just naturally started taking the shit apart and putting it back together. Yeah, I worked at a fab shop before this, and I know I liked it. Just doing stuff for state of California, CHP, vehicle maintenance and welding and stuff on their vehicles. But I wanted a little cooler job, so I was into wheeling. So I came to RuffStuff.
What was done at the CHP place?
We just build stuff for like Caltrans and stuff on their trucks, like racks or like signboards for their trucks.
Gotcha.
Just little fab stuff that,
Yeah.
it was fun, but I wanted something a little cooler.
Yeah.
It's right out of high school. I wanted to do some cool stuff. So
More excitement.
more excitement. Yep. Definitely found it here. I started by welding diff covers, differential covers.
It's like every welder's first job.
I know. It seems like everyone started welding diff
production
covers.
line.
Yeah. And that was definitely cool for a year. And then you're definitely over it at that point. There's only so many diff covers you can weld. And yeah, I think, let's see, I started getting into, I had a little background in machining, just from high school shop class. But I think after I was in the welding shop, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, and then started getting into a little R&D part-time, which is definitely fun. Definitely something I like doing a lot more than production welding.
Hands-on Jeeps.
Yeah. And then eventually I just started to be full-time R&D. It got to its own department. It started growing so much. We made it its own department. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I'm the head of R&D right now. But with all the expansion we're doing, it's hard to get some time on R&D. So I think Chris and I are pretty much full-time on the manufacturing side, the machines,
Yeah, you guys wear multiple hats, right?
It definitely seems like it.
Yeah.
Our business card says one thing, but definitely feel like we do
The day-to-day is
The
definitely
day-to-day, yeah. Eventually, once the shop's running smooth, I think the dust will settle and we'll go back to what we're supposed to be doing.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. We can just put put your job title, comma, another job title, comma.
Yeah,
Just add,
yeah.
Keep adding.
etc., etc.
So today's podcast, we wanted to discuss things just Jeep related. And so let's just get into that. I know you guys both have Jeeps. So what do you, and you've had Jeeps. So what do you have now? And what's the details on those?
Right now, I have a 2006 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. That's kind of my dream Jeep. I've always liked Wranglers, but they're a little too short. That's the one downside everyone has. So I got the LJ, the long Jeep. I don't know if that's what it stands for, but that's what I call it.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Yep. That's I think I'll have that one for a while for sure. I've had Cherokees in the past, Grand Cherokees, but they're almost a Wrangler, but they don't have a frame, so they're not as cool. But that's my opinion.
I think you're at that very mature stage where you really got to see all the Jeeps in action and actually start as hand slicked, which one was really for you.
The pros and cons.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think I've really got kind of just thrown what was ever to the side and try to make it as cool as I could for myself.
Yeah.
Junkyard Jeeps.
Yeah.
Now you got, was it JK Dana 44s in there?
Nope. I have I retubed a high pinion Ford
Oh.
Dana 44, so it's kind of a hybrid. It's a Wagoneer width high pinion 44, 60-inch wheel mount, just a beefier front end, and the rear is just a factory Rubicon TJ rear 44.
Gotcha. So original width and everything.
Yep, just 60-inch wheel mount.
Gotcha.
Kind of outgrown it though, so I want something bigger, but
That's the way it goes.
that's the way it goes.
So was that 44 the first one you ever retubed then?
One of the first. Yeah, I just started doing some axle work on the side, just retubing axles, and with all the equipment here, it makes it pretty easy, pretty quick. So the Dana 30 wasn't cutting anymore. So I had actually a low pinion Wagoneer with, which is what everyone puts in the front of their Jeeps because it's perfect. It's perfect axle for that, but it's low pinion. Wanted something a little bit cooler, a little beefier, so I made a kind of a hybrid axle.
Yeah, on my Toyota, it was a hybrid 44 too. I did a Chevy full width, and then I cut down the long side to a waggy long.
Yeah.
That way the short tube was still a little bit longer, and you can actually put links on it without your tires hitting it when you turn.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a 92 Cherokee also, but it's just kind of sitting. It needs a good home.
It's for sale.
It is for sale. I haven't done anything with it, but
is that the one that has Rubicon axles?
That one has JK axles, front and rear. Yeah, that one's kind of a side project. We just had so many parts laying around, decided to throw them all in one Jeep, so that's what we did.
It's cool, but it's not your first Cherokee, so it definitely has more quality work on it, though.
Definitely, yeah. My Grand Cherokee I built when I was 15, 16, 17, so that kind of showed my fab work, but
character building.
Yeah, definitely learned a lot. Yeah.
And Chris, where you at?
Yeah, kind of like I was saying, just a lot of hand-me-downs that are from here and there. I'm on my second CJ, so they're just, one was a little further along. It was easy trade-in value. It's pretty much what it was. And that, I'd say the new CJ I guess it's a little more sound. It's just been proven a little bit just from where it came from. It's the neighborhood up in the Rubicon. It's in Georgetown, so it was just tried and true. The one I kind of had was just something that was beat up. We found up 80 somewhere that was given to us for free. We got running, but same kind of principle idea. Just random old axles with a Chevy 350 in it.
Classic.
Yeah. So and then unlimited problems of people just wearing on it year after year. So yeah, I think people just get tired of those things. They're embarrassed of the work they do, and then it just kind of gets passed to me.
Yeah, so, that thing's a wheeler's wheeler. I mean, it is like simple, reliable, and not a lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the big ideals when I was looking for the Jeeps, is just there's not much to them, and they're easy to keep going.
Yeah.
But my first Jeep was just a 91 Cherokee, and that's, that was always a favorite to me because the guy who he was actually roommating with my mother, he passed away and told his sister to will it to me. So that was always special. That. Yeah, so
that's cool.
So I never really wanted to get rid of it, but it's definitely a point when you kind of outgrow some things. No, especially when you can.
That's not the one your brother has now, right? That's not the chop top?
That is not the chop top, no.
Okay. That's the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much bought that. That's a 92. I bought that 92 just pretty much. I bought it for $250. I was literally just going to practice on making half doors for mine and just different stuff, but I got it running. And then I got it to pass smog. And then I let people borrow it, and then it burned down.
But now it's on 1 tons.
And now it's doing pretty good. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Apparently it's still my name because taxes were asking about it this year. So I get that figured out.
So go ahead.
Now your the current CJ you got, that's on 8-lug 44 and a 60 Outback or a 70 Outback?
Yeah, it's the 70U after doing a bunch of research that I've blown up pretty good by now. So that was my first feeling like a race car driver when you really just shred the crap out of a rear end. That felt pretty good. So I'm getting a lot of those mature character building steps under my belt for sure. Driving around in front wheel drive and parking next to the cops, got pulled somebody over because you don't want to drive past them because of how bad it sounds. And then you just act like you're looking at it like you want to act like you just fixed it or something like that. And then you just drive past them after waiting 15 minutes. You're just like, yeah, no, I'm just going to give it a try.
Just leaking oil everywhere.
Yeah, and they got this guy up against his car. This is 6 cop cars. You're like, the back road wasn't the good choice right now.
So what's your Jeep? I know you said the LJ is the one you've always wanted, but what's your Jeep model of choice and why?
The model of choice. I don't know. I've always liked Wranglers, a stretch Wrangler. I think the LJ is a perfect platform for that. The only issue is there's only 2 doors. So, I mean, a 4-door JK is cool. Definitely a good platform to build off of. You can do so many things with a 4-door JK. They go everywhere. You can put them on some 40s really easy, some 110 axles. It's a pretty good platform.
About the motors, do you think they're better than the straight 6?
No, that's the bad part. It's hard to beat a 4-liter Jeep motor.
Yeah.
You can't kill
Pretty
those.
tried and true, man.
Yep.
What about you, Chris?
I think the older the better, really. Just the new stuff just has stuff I'm not that interested in or want to take something and, just get too emotionally invested. I'd say after my Cherokee, just having all the emotional investment and taking it to the places where that's just not necessary or shouldn't be. It just has no place in where I take a lot of these things. So I think, the older, the more character, but without having too much sentimental value is right where you want to live.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I really have it to have a good time. That's, pretty much what Jeep means to me, really. So, having a V8, having a V8's a big character. And I think I'm in denial of just about everything else. I'm non-partial to leaf springs, links. It's the one that I'm not having to work on currently is the one I'm stoked about. I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the yellow Jeep, CJ's got links out back. It's 4-link, right?
Up front.
Up front, that's right.
Yes. It's leaf sprung in the rear. It's pretty funny.
So you just don't want to have to worry about like damaging it or like is that what you're saying? Like as far as like you just want to go have a good time and not worry about getting the scratching your brand new JK.
Correct. Yeah, and at the same, it's a lot of contradictions. I think having a Jeep is a lot of contradictions because either you build it to where it has to get trailered, or you don't want it's so nice and new that you're making payments on it. You don't want to scratch it. There's just so many variations, and I just feel like getting something old and you just keep adding things that you really enjoy, like the V8, the manual, just everything that makes it fun. And I think they're just way more personable, in my opinion.
So you guys are kind of like opposite spectrum then, huh?
Yeah, but now I'm thinking about it. A YJ might be a good choice too. It's almost a TJ, but no one really cares that much about a YJ.
Yeah.
And they're
the crap out of
and
them.
they're
Yeah,
cheap now, right?
that's
'Cause, like,
true.
what is that, 91 or something like that? Is it the last year, or is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Was it
Well,
fuel injected
90,
or 93?
97 was the first year TJ. I think.
Oh,
somewhere
okay.
around there.
Okay,
But
maybe
yeah.
it's the first.
That's it. Yeah, it was 95 because there was a gap year where there was no Jeep model. I think 96.
I might be thinking
There's not a
fuel
Wrangler.
injection or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
fuel injection was like 92, 91 or 92 maybe, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Well, what about you, Garrett? What's your dream Jeep model?
I actually kind of like the newer Jeeps, like the JKs, and just because I agree with Chris. I like to have a good time, but I also like air conditioning. So being on the wheel with the top on, man, is nice. We did that with our 2007 JK that we had at RuffStuff.
Yeah, that thing was pretty luxury.
Like we took it to Jamboree the first year with the top on, just so we can crank the AC the whole time, and it was nice. The only bad thing about it is we were doing exactly what like Chris was worried about, which was like making sure we weren't going to hit stuff, and we almost took the top out like multiple times because you don't think like how it becomes like an SUV at that point, and so the top starts getting really close to trees and
Even just throwing crap, because everything that you're camping with is you're just throwing crap around inside of it.
yeah, and you're leaning over the edge and scratching stuff with your knife or your belt buckle, like so. Yeah, for sure, that's like always a concern, but I think it is just nice to have like there. It's a good platform, like Wyatt was saying, but I've become like less of like in party mode and more just having a good time. And I'd prefer just to go kind of wheel and cruise, and I like cruising. I don't like to I guess smash.
You've had the truggy.
Yeah, I had
You've done the truggy
yeah.
thing.
I don't get me wrong, like I would love to just go smashing, but also I don't like working on the rig every weekend. And so like that, when you go smashing, that requires
Maintenance.
and I'd rather that's why when I built my Toyota, there's some stuff I probably should have done, on Dana 60 up front, but like when I built the 44, I overbuilt it because I just didn't feel like working on it. I just wanted to build it once and just do basic maintenance.
You had no issues with that thing ever besides oddball motor stuff here and there or something, right?
Yeah, I think the cap came off on like the U-joint on the front of the 44, and I think it was warranted because it was one of the lifetime warranty ones from Yukon.
Oh yeah.
So I just swapped it out and good to go. I think it would. I don't know if it was like installation error that the cap came off or if it actually came off, but yeah, it was really really basic.
Pretty minor issues though.
Yeah, like
That ain't bad.
yeah. Zach.
I like the old American Iron, huh?
Yeah,
I do like the old iron. I'm a sucker for old iron. I know. I like the FSJ. I like the full size Jeep trucks.
Oh yeah.
The old J trucks. Oh, I love those things. But they're just rare. They're rare shit, and not something you really want to beat up because there's not a lot of them rolling around.
Yeah.
I've come close to buying 3 different ones and never actually pulled the trigger. One of them over on Switzer across from the old shop, actually. Until I got there and we couldn't get it really running, and then we finally did. Drove it around, ran like shit, and then it was just puking out oil every which way. And the guy wanted $5,000, so I left. But it was cool. It was super cool. But yeah, never bought an old J truck, but I'm trying to eventually.
So obviously you guys run RuffStuff products on your Jeeps. What do you guys got?
On my LJ, I have our 4-link kit out back with combo 4-link bracket. That works really well for those Jeep frames. It's so easy, just slap it on the side and then square it up and burn it in. And then a 3-link kit in the front, just our inside the frame 3-link bracket, 3-legged link bracket, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. And then just some lower link mounts and just a real easy 3-link in the front, tri-link 4-link in the rear, and just a whole lot of DOM for the roll cage and sliders and stuff like that.
Which vehicle was that on?
My 2006 Wrangler.
So is the frame boxed in or no?
Yep. Yeah, it's 2.5 by 4 box tube all the way down.
When you're mounting like those links, the brackets on there, do you ever plate the frame or not?
You can, but not really. It's not really necessary on a TJ unless you're going like full on Ultra 4. Yeah.
And you wheel like you're kind of like more of a mild wheeler in that, right? You're more cruising.
I don't know. I've seen Wyatt bouncing it pretty hard a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just with me then.
Yeah, I like to have a good time. Okay. Time trials to Buck Lake, but
Yeah, he's the recovery rig for sure.
All right. What else are you guys running on those things?
Heim steering, 7/8 Heim steering all day long.
Hard to go wrong
Yeah.
with that,
Yeah.
man.
That's the favorite stuff to do. That really gets, even if it's the kits that we don't make for different axles, I always feel like I can go over there and make some kind of Lego kit and make it work. Just I've done it on just about every old vehicle that's come through, old Scouts and such.
Yep.
Just being able to, find the right misalignments or spacers that go in there that space everything just right. It's always fun.
So you're running Heim steering on the LJ?
Yep.
You are. So you wheel that thing pretty often?
Yep. Yeah.
How long do those rod ends last you?
Well, so you can. It depends on how squirrely you're fine with the steering. If you change them once a year, it's fine. It's totally fine.
You drive it on the road quite a bit.
I drive it on the road. Yeah.
Alternate that every now and then.
Yep. It'll still do 70 miles an hour down the freeway as long as I don't have a bent tie rod after coming out of Tahoe on the Tahoe side of the Rubicon. But they work fine. You just maintenance, like we were saying.
Yeah.
You just maintain your stuff.
I was just curious because I know you probably out of anyone here, I feel like get the most trail time, right?
Yeah. I do get quite a bit, and you definitely you notice when they get sloppy, but I'd say about a season, and then they, I don't know, change them out. Yeah, I don't have my tires balanced or anything, and I don't get any death wobble or anything. I just finally put a stabilizer on there just because I've been running the same ball joints for 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't running any stabilizer or anything. And as long as your geometry and your steering is good, it really solved a lot of issues.
Did you mount that off the diff cover, or where'd you mount that on?
Yeah, on a RuffStuff diff cover. I just welded some tabs to it and one of our 1.5-inch tube clamps. Super easy. Yep.
Yeah, that's the fun Lego stuff. Even I think another really fun thing to do is making like we made the Cherokee shackles.
Oh yeah.
That's always fun. Just being able to take a DOM and throw it in the pocket, and then taking some of our offset shackles to
flipping them inside out, and then because the Cherokees have the weird bushing shackle deal. It's like a bushing on one end, but then a shackle. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's definitely something you could do at your house. Even just trace like the outside of the DOM and then just do a little bit of cutting. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris? What do you got on the CJ?
I'd say probably the coolest thing that we've done pretty recently was probably the disc brake conversion on the rear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's been working. Yeah, flawless.
Did you put a proportioning valve on there, or were you not? No big deal.
No, it's I forget what kind of brake booster is on it, but it had a pretty decent brake booster to back it.
I was curious.
I think that was, I guess going from the first CJ to having a brake booster between the two.
Have you done any snow wheeling with it yet or anything?
Nope.
No.
Nope, been having, pretty much blew up the rear end over the winter. So that was kind of my thing. I think was there any snow up there when you guys went up last?
Last time I went out was me and Lewis, one of our other employees here. We went up to Fordyce and did some snow. There's some really good snow.
Is that when I blew my rear end on the freeway?
No,
Dude,
that was a few trips before.
That was ridiculous.
That's right. You were on your way up to Fordyce, right?
Yeah, we were going like through Auburn on the freeway. I haven't really done the freeway with that vehicle that much before. And Wyatt says I was going about 70, and he was like directly behind me.
Yep.
That thing goes 70?
I have no idea.
Wow.
It does pissed off in fourth gear as well as it does.
What size tires on 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wyatt was directly behind me, and I was getting some good vibration in the rear end. But after driving around for a while, we couldn't really pinpoint what it was.
Driveline vibration or something.
Yeah, we're gonna go with sloppy bearings, but I mean, we had the driveline out, and we were pulling the yoke around, and we couldn't really, our easy indicators wasn't really going off.
Nothing obvious.
Yeah, so we just we kind of went with the it's a noisy old Jeep kind of routine.
We're going to Fordyce.
It's probably nothing.
Yeah, and it kind of turned into an oil bomb. And definitely went all over Wyatt's Jeep right behind me. And there was like 2 CHP in the fast lane, like passing me right when that happened. Yeah, but I made the exit pretty quick. It was great.
Coasted through the off ramp.
Yep.
Yeah, for non-Californians, it's California Highway Patrol, and they will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might check that thing on the, like, if you, like, next time you're on a dirt road or snow wheeling, slam on the brakes and see if the back end whips around on you. And that will tell you if you need a proportioning valve or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I used to, like, when I did my, and it changes for the terrain too, because, like, I dialed mine in on dirt, and then we went snow wheeling, and it would still come around on me. Yeah.
Just because they're not locking up as much?
It's because you're switching the disc brakes in the rear that are actually for their front end calipers too. So they're like stout, strong calipers, and now your rear end is braking so good, it'll start to skid, and you fishtail essentially.
Just locks the rear before the front.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's disc up front too. It feels really good. I mean, I get the old kind of pull while you hit a hard brake kind of routine, but that's just daily driving it.
Doing it on dirt or like snow will just amplify like the reaction. So like if you're on pavement, it's probably not gonna do it as much unless like you're in like a wet pavement or like a gnarly scenario, or like someone pulls out in front of you and you actually slam on the brakes like as hard as you can. But definitely something. That's why I always have told people like on the phone, as far as like purchasing our disc brake kits and stuff, is like definitely proportioning valves so you can dial in that that skidding.
Yeah. I think once that becomes one of my main points of concern, I'm definitely more likely to die on a few other scenarios.
A few other issues it's got going on.
Yeah. I think I try to limit it on speed for sure, unless it feels pretty clear and I'm cruising.
Yeah, that thing wasn't really built to go fast. I'm like surprised it can.
What gears did we need to put in that, Wyatt? Do you remember?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was the high fives, right?
538s or something probably like that.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it still boogies pretty good.
On a SM 465, that thing's screaming at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's pissed. Damn.
What else? So what else you have on there that's RuffStuff related? You got the disc brakes.
Yeah, a lot of it was, this is the common thing you see with any of the builds that are really for sale in the area. They always have, if they got links, they always have our brackets, anything going on like that. I think there's even leaf spring mounts. I think I put new coil bucket mounts in the rear, and just, tons of little zip tie add-ons pretty much is everywhere. After doing
all the brakes.
I think we bent a bunch of brake lines and everything when we were in there last.
So if someone here at the company or just someone in general were to ask you guys, I'm looking at getting a Jeep, and I guess you guys have your recommendations, but those are for you. How would you recommend one of those to someone else, and like what model would you pick for them and why? Like what kind of questions would you ask them?
I think it's hard to get away from a Cherokee for a starter
Yep.
rig.
Yep.
Something about
I wouldn't recommend anyone go down the
Yeah.
path I went down.
Well, and Cherokee is like a good budget rig too, because I mean,
yeah,
God, you get them cheap as shit these days.
$500.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah,
$500.
$500 to get you one. Needs a little TLC, a little weekend elbow grease, and she's running and driving.
I need to get running on the spot.
Something with
Yeah.
a 4.0 for sure. Yeah.
4-liter for sure. Yeah.
So that's someone with that's like maybe more budget friendly than.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a solid
That's
rig
usually
no
the
matter
question.
what.
It's
Yeah.
if you're
How much
getting
do you
into
wanna
it, you
spend?
want to get into it cheap.
Yeah.
And then if you're getting into it cheap, you have a Cherokee, and you have a Cherokee, you're just going to stay with cheap. That's mostly how it goes.
And that
Have
would
more
be,
money for fun stuff.
And
the idea.
what not? You'd probably recommend not use that as your daily driver.
It depends on how far you live
Okay.
from work.
How far you want to build it to, I guess, right?
Yeah.
How much you can ask from your friends.
How talented you are.
Yeah. How many? What's your relationships in the area look like?
Yeah. How
your,
many-
your
How many friends with trailers?
how much you paying for AAA?
So what's your number 2 pick besides the XJ then?
For a first Jeep,
Yeah.
it can't be a Cherokee. That's a tough one. I don't know.
If you're still going cheap, you're probably at the two. Yeah, you're probably at the 4-cylinder now.
A 4-cylinder TJ.
You're in the 90s.
Or
You
a
probably have a
YJ.
4-cylinder. Yeah.
4-cylinder YJs,
Why-
man. They'll
Yeah.
come out for like 2 to 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
Why the 4-cylinder?
Lower
Why not
mile.
the 6?
Because they're usually going cheap.
Yeah. 4-cylinder TJ is super cheap.
Shave
Coil
4 or 5
sprung.
grand right off of that.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah. You can probably get 4-cylinder TJ for $4,000, $5,000.
They're
They do?
still that expensive?
Yeah.
Well, they come up in price, man. Back in the day, like you used to be able to get one for like 2 to 3, but now everything's crazy expensive.
Yeah. If you're looking for a 6-liter or a 6-cylinder TJ, you're probably 8-10 grand easy for a decent TJ.
Jeez.
Although I know you got a YJ, a 4-liter YJ,
Fuel injected too.
Sahara. It was like the luxury
Oh,
one with
with
the air,
the
air conditioning.
green and tan.
Yeah.
Them tan seats.
How
were
much was
killer.
that?
It was like $5,000, I think.
That's a good deal.
I think I sold it for. I had it for like a summer and sold it for 6 or something, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think I don't even know if I changed the oil in it. It was just like got it, drove it, took the top off.
Had some fun.
Yeah.
Summer driver.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys didn't have a budget, what are you looking at? What's your like go-to? Don't care about maintenance costs. Don't care about money thrown at it. Just gonna go have a good time. Sure, I have like a U4 car or something real crazy buggy wise, but what, you're gonna stick with the Jeep platform. What are you gonna go with?
I'm going to get a pre-smog CJ and cut everything but the middle of the frame out and tube it pretty much.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
I guess the Gladiators are pretty cool.
The new Gladiators?
Yeah,
The-
because I guess smog's not an issue. I'm putting some kind of V8 or a 6.0 Chevy in it, and it's probably going to have AC still. I'm probably going to be it's probably going to
I like how you guys are still like the opposite spectrum on that.
Yeah.
Too. It's like why? Like
just
why?
flip-flop it right back
Yeah.
and forth.
So you're no budget. You go like old school.
Yeah.
No smog, and you're already at that realm, and you're going the other way. So what's your thoughts on that, Wyatt? Like why?
I think if I was to start with no budget from the ground up, I want something cool, and it's going to be a go fast party rig with a big LS motor and some RuffStuff axles.
Something like more unique versus like something off the lot.
Yeah,
Like-
something that's kind of universal, something that with the motor that you can take to King of the Hammers or something, but it'll still crawl real well. Yeah,
And I guess
something that you could take to the desert even too. You can do some real fast stuff, but you still crawl really well.
Yeah.
You can go to a little sluice and all that.
and your spectrum was. The
would you have
opposite.
air conditioning?
If I had no budget, yeah.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
true, yeah.
It'd be low on top, low
Yeah,
on
we're
the,
gonna, yeah, it's a rental. Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be low on the priority list, but yeah. I think a heater is the main thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, heater for sure. But those are pretty straightforward to install too.
That's true. Yeah, you can get a Summit Racing one.
That's what I had
Drill
to.
holes in the firewall. Oh, good.
That's true. Some ducting, some HVAC ducting inside.
And you were leaning the opposite way. I mean, I guess based on what you were saying previously about just not wanting to scratch stuff and worry about it, and now you're with money, you're like whatever.
We're just gonna go full for it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, someone else is gonna build it. Even it's cool.
Yeah.
He even like brought himself into building it. Was the funny thing. I'm like, God, that sounds like work. I thought we had money this month.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Jeez, you don't even know a guy you trust.
Just take it to a shop and drop it off with a blank check.
So as far as RuffStuff products, what's something you, I guess, is your something you'd recommend to like for everyone to get? Like what's the trying to word that properly?
What's the recommended product from RuffStuff?
Yeah,
for a guy that's into Jeeps.
A diff cover. It's the first thing you throw on a Jeep.
Yeah,
a diff cover.
that's a good one.
Something I don't even think about. Just slap it on. Why not?
XJ diff cover. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a big problem. I think that's a big gateway drug for it for sure. Because you're feeling so stoked on it, then you can see the little add-ons and you see what goes right in front of it, and just kind of it does kind of go from there.
Maybe the only install that goes 100% according to plan.
Yep, and then you take it so far after steering, and then you get a different axle, and then you sell your old Dana 30 with a RuffStuff diff cover. And that's like all you get out of that axle.
Just added a smooth value to that Dana 30.
Yeah, you did.
So what's the priority list then? If it was like three things, diff cover, what?
On a Jeep, like a Cherokee, it'd be diff covers, steering, and then I'd say chop the fenders and put some big tires on it.
Yeah.
Some blocks in the rear.
That's exactly what you have.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, can we support Cherokee people putting cages and stuff? I'm tired of my boys not having cages and stuff. It's freaking me out.
Folding their cabs in. Yeah.
It's freaking me out, man.
The flop top.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that people don't they don't explain to people how scary you're gonna get, and if you putting a cage in that goes into any consideration of you buying a Cherokee, I mean, and you don't feel comfortable putting one in, or the interior you're looking at in the Cherokee is too nice. You need to move on, and you need to, put that focus into, like we said, a 4-cylinder YJ or something else, because it's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer getting so invested in something, and you just keep putting it off because there's 100 reasons why not to do an interior cage, and there's, or if you don't like an exo cage or anything, you're waiting to get a good platform. You're waiting to put some sliders on here, and it's just, dude, but you're gonna go out every season, whether it's whatever you're doing, and you're just gonna get closer and closer. Especially if you want to show off, everyone likes the chop fender Cherokees, and they always want to go out in the woods, and they're always trying to haul ass up stuff, and then you smack a tree, you back into something. It's inevitable, really.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Even if it's something simple, right? Like if it's because you're just talking about like most rolls are slow rolls. I mean, there's always some higher end ones.
Yeah,
but bare minimum, I mean, just even a couple bars in there would keep that cab from crushing on you, right?
Yep. Even if you lay it on its side just a little bit, your doors might not close right ever again.
You're protecting your investment.
Yeah. The thing that really sealed the deal for me, man, is when you cut the top off of that Cherokee.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing was just like a taco shell. Like it was barely holding together. Like
sheet metal, yeah.
That roof is the structural integrity of that entire vehicle.
It does, yeah. I had to weld the doors in and the rear doors in
to keep the thing from just splitting open.
Yeah, it'll fold right at the floorboard. Especially if you because you always have the doors off and something that you don't even care to have a roof on.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Gladiator, should we get a Gladiator RuffStuff?
A new Gladiator. I keep
really
looking at
that
them.
kind of stuff.
I keep seeing them driving around. I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
They're cool when you get into like the 37-inch tire range, but
they're
little
dorky.
It's like, super dorky, dude. Like those, it looks like a G-Wagon with a bed on the back.
A G-Wagon.
I hate those things. I hate those things.
Yeah, I like a dark gray Gladiator on like 35s, 37s. It's sweet.
There's one in Auburn I see all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had more time to work on it, I'd do it. But until we get further along with a couple of these,
well, what's like?
Because I want to touch it, Yeah. And if I can't be in there doing it, it's just why I got to pick it. He gets to touch it. It's gonna bum me out.
Out of all the new Jeep models out there, the JL, JLU, Gladiator, the JT, what do you guys think we should do if we were to pick one to start with?
Let's say Gladiator.
Yeah, I think that does make up for having the 3.6 motor for sure.
Yeah. Well, now you get the diesel.
That's true. Yeah, I saw that.
It's supposed to be cool.
And that would be the main thing that would open up the other ones for me is those options. But if I had to pick a Jeep with a motor that I'm not used to and I don't trust, it'd have to have something different, weird, unique, cool about it.
Like a factory warranty.
Yeah. So unique.
60,000. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, get the extended.
Sell it at 58 flat. Just be out
Yeah.
here. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys both get around. Wyatt, you seem to really get around. Where's your favorite place to wheel in our local California wheeling paradise?
Fordyce for sure.
Fordyce, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to beat, man.
Rubicon's fun, but it's getting crowded. It's getting more controlling. Fordyce is still kind of not quite a free for all, but you can still have a really good time out there.
A little more cowboy out there.
A little more cowboy. Yeah, it gets a little wild sometimes, but it's as long as you keep it safe. It's a
Well,
good
yeah, I mean,
time.
when you got to cross the big water sometimes, it definitely keeps the riffraff out.
That's true.
Yeah.
The river definitely scares away a lot of the less dedicated wheelers, if I put it that way.
Yeah, it gets gnarly, man.
It
gets
does get
crazy.
gnarly.
They open that sucker up, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little scary sometimes. Yeah, wind chills are fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were out at, what was that, Eagle Lakes area, Pierce OHV.
Yeah.
It's a nice little way to get back and drive line hill and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good little cruise. Even just a day trip out there, you can jam up 80 in no time at all.
Yeah, hanging out on the Yuba, super chill.
How about you, Chris?
Well, I was going to touch on is Wyatt got this cool book of the state. I mean, I think there's some in Nevada too, right?
Oh,
that show a lot of the trails, and it even shows you kind of what's necessary for a Jeep to get through a lot of those.
Yeah,
Really?
I can't remember the name of the book, but it lists a lot of trails on the West Coast, and there's so many out there. I feel like I've been wheeling a lot, and there's so many trails I haven't even heard of.
Well, it really puts perspective on the builds that we're doing and how far we get along them without getting to a lot of these trails that you don't need a lot of this equipment for.
Yeah.
So now you're starting to limit yourself on just these hardcore places that there's way
Yeah.
fewer of.
That's true.
So that's that's another conversation that is always cool to tell someone in buying a new vehicle for sure.
Sometimes you don't need 40s and 110s to go and have a good
No,
time.
no, you just limit yourself on seeing so much, really.
Yeah.
And that's a big value why you purchased the vehicle in the first place.
Yeah, just to experience the land and just go out, get outside and have a good time. And
Yeah. Get some
Drive
fresh
off-road.
air and have some fun for a little bit.
Yep.
totally.
Actually, real quick, I got a question for both you guys. It's going to be one of those this, that, or this, whatever kind of questions. Would you rather have, say you got a competent vehicle with a good rear end, rear ARB locker with a Coleman cooler, or a welded rear end with an ARB fridge?
Oh, man.
Well, I got the welded rear end. It's really, I'm over it. I got, I'm down.
But you got a fridge that's going to keep everything icy cold versus being able to actually unhook that and not kill your tires on the pavement.
That's a tough question, man.
Kill the tires. Smoke those tires.
That's true.
Kill all tires.
Yeah, kill the tires.
Kill all tires. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at the point where a selectable locker is almost a necessity. I'm tired of the welded diffs and the Lockrite lockers and all that.
Letting everybody you're there every time you get to any place on pavement.
Chirp, 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 chirp every time you turn into.
I think it's great. I think it's great.
Chris is
Drive
here.
down oh man, being able to take that thing to like Sacramento is just awesome.
Going through the drive-through.
Oh
in and
yeah.
out.
What's your what about places you'd like to wheel at, Chris?
I'd say, well, the Rubicon really, I had the best moment of finally when I went there a bunch when I was younger, and I did passenger a lot. But finally, when you take your own rig in there for the first time and you get to go see all your friends that have always been taking you or you've been riding with, that feeling was pretty unmatched. So I'd say personally that's the highest held in my regard at the moment. But like Wyatt said, there's a lot of complications. And I gotta say, when I first went through Rubicon when I was younger, I did not think there was gonna be police out there.
Yeah, there is, man.
I
There
just,
is.
that's like my favorite part of going to the woods. I just, less people and just less consequences, less, a lot of the things. And then you go to these events and you realize there's a lot of things you don't want to be there.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad there is some law enforcement out there because there could be some bad dudes out
Yeah.
there.
It keeps what's that phrase? It keeps people like honest, I guess, right? And,
Yeah.
Or like keeps. Yeah, once you get like a place that's like fully populated, even like King of the Hammers, like in the early days,
yeah.
like there was nothing.
It was
and
wild.
it was like the Wild West. Like it's like
You do anything you want.
you could just get freaking get drunk and drive all day, all night long, no consequences at all. But then that puts everyone else at danger that's trying to just have a good time with their family or by themselves, whatever, you know.
Well, I wasn't trying to say anything about law enforcement, but it was more along the lines of there's got to be so many people and so much going on for that to finally be the result.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of sunk into me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the first time going through, I didn't see anybody. There was nothing going on. It was just a great place to be. And then, you know, I think it was the second time I went there and I was like, oh, that's how this goes here. Okay. I guess. And then you just start hearing about stuff like that. And even that evening when I finally see them, you know, then you finally get to a lot of the big party spots during those weekends. Yeah. That was
crazy. Yeah. Even 5-6 years ago, man, it wasn't as crazy as now. I mean, in the last like 5 years, it's a tourist destination, you know?
Yeah.
It's
a hard one to get into, but it's a tourist destination. That's for sure.
What about any kind of like good, crazy wheeling stories you guys got at any places actually in general?
One of my favorite moments wasn't even really a wheeling story. Chris and I, after work one day, decided we were going to jam up to the Rubicon. Just like, I don't know, we got off work at like 4. We're like, well, let's go to the Rubicon. I don't even know. It was like, dude, it was probably like November or December maybe.
Yeah, it was awesome.
snowing. Like, we're just going to go up there for a little bit. We got to Loon Lake, the first dam at Loon Lake, and they had just stopped plowing right there. And we got 10 feet in, and my Jeep just sunk. We're just out there in the middle of the night. We got up there, it's probably like 9, 10, so it's dark.
Yeah,
and
nobody else, no other rigs.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of this, on the dam. It's windy during the day, but in a snowstorm, it was just howling. My Jeep just sunk, and we both just looked at each other like, oh, man.
Yeah, the wind is whipping off of the lake, going over into the huge valley below us.
Yeah.
And we're on this thin little road where there's no other tracks.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else. There was no winch points because you're on the dam.
Just on a dam.
Yeah, you have
There's nothing.
Yeah, I don't even think we're pretty close to the middle, if anything.
Yeah, they just stopped plowing right in the middle of the dam. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh, we can make it a little ways, but nope.
Yeah, we knew we had to dig it out.
Yeah, we bailed out. We had a couple small shovels, and it was so windy it was hard to stand up. And we were just laughing the whole
You
time,
lay underneath
digging
it.
the Jeep
you
out.
lay underneath it because that's
Yeah,
You can hear it. You're on
underneath.
the other side of the tire. You're on so you're not getting hit with
Yeah.
it, scooping it outwards.
Yeah, we let as much air out of the tires as we could. And it was probably down to, I don't know, fucking 8 pounds, 8 psi, because we just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
Let all the air out, dug it out, threw in reverse, and just started rocking the Jeep back and forth, reverse drive, just to get some momentum. And as soon as we got out of there, just stood on the gas, backed out, and we just turned around and left. Like, we didn't do any wheeling. We just...
We were taking inventory of what we had inside the cab. We're just like,
Fuck, dude.
that got serious
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, we were not prepared for that.
Spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
Wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got a wild hair. Let's go up to the Rubicon. It's going to be so much fun.
What about you, Chris?
I think I don't know. It was pretty fun changing the leaf spring last time I was out there. That was a fun trip. I guess I always remember just like the weird things that have to happen.
Yeah.
And what you're just not ready for, even though you get really ready for stuff.
Every time.
So I guess, there's, I don't know. I guess I'd have to rate it by what I had to fix or who I helped or what. So I guess I'd rate it on me helping somebody else, I guess.
Getting your buddy out of a pinch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or the one time when someone made a flabongo. And someone made a beer bong at Buck Island.
What's a flabongo?
I got a feeling.
Those lawn ornaments that are flamingos. If you cut where their feet are that stick into the yard, you cut that out and it makes like a bowl, and you snip the nose off from because it's a hollow plastic little plant or animal. Sorry. and you can tilt this thing upside down and fill it just like a beer bong with, full of beer. I mean, it probably holds a couple of them, and it'll go down the neck of it, and you can drink it. That was pretty funny. I remember looking for Wyatt after I found this great invention, and Wyatt was nowhere to be found. I'm sure he heard me
Yelling, Wyatt, flabongos.
Oh, flabongo, Wyatt!
You know who's got some crazy stories is Greg at Rock and Road.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
He's had some serious things happen to him, and he's the nicest guy. People trying to fight him and just be crazy, and he's seriously the nicest, calmest guy I've met.
Or nearly rips transfer case out. I remember him telling me that story with when he was with Ryan Ron transfer case came out, like all the mounts came off or something.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it sounded like a horrible time.
Yeah.
In your humble opinions, what is better? A stock 2021 Wrangler, call it a Rubicon, you know, give something to it, or a 20-year-old shitbox beefed out with RuffStuff parts?
It's got to be the shit box.
The shit box am I choosing?
Of your choosing. You pick the shitbox, you pick the parts.
20 years old, so that would just put it as a 90, right?
Dang, that's actually kind of sad.
Oh my god.
91.
Like, we're like talking about like
92.
1970s, like
All right.
CJs and stuff.
Let's push that back to like 20 to 40 years.
20 to 40 years. So we're getting into prime era of vehicles at that point, which, 100% the shit box.
It's like a square body Chevy.
Yeah, you goddamn right.
Yeah.
Cool size is the cool size.
What about so why why do you guys choose Jeep over like Ford or Toyota, or like why are you in the Jeeps? Just ended up that way?
I just ended up that way. My first rig was a Jeep. I'm like, oh, he's kind of cool, I guess. But if I would have got a
This runs and
Toyota,
drives.
yeah,
Makes sense.
if I would have had a Toyota or a Chevy or something, it probably would have been into Toyotas or Chevys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just leasing more ideal out of being able to, what I call as I make something a Jeep, is pretty much when you start putting Jeep parts on a full size rig. That's, I mean, it turns in the same category for me, really. I think we call it Jeeping pretty much whenever if you're out doing something cool like that, it's just Jeeping. But I think it's the originators, so I think there's definitely a lot behind that, and I think that's even why it would steer me to the originating factors of that.
Yeah. A little bit of heritage behind it, keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys already explain like what got you into wheeling originally? Like what was the origin story?
Legos,
Building stuff. Putting
had
stuff
to mess
together.
people up for sure.
Yeah. I always just like work on stuff. So
Yeah.
Creative mind,
creative mind. Yeah.
finding an outlet.
And a little bit of a welding interest and mechanic interest. You kind of off-road or race cars, and I picked off-road, I think. So, yep.
What were you thinking, Wyatt?
I don't
They
know.
look simpler.
I get to actually go like race. It's not like, I guess it is kind of a real race, but I get to go race in like a month at the, you guys ever heard of the 24-hour of lemons?
The Lemons race, yeah. Yeah, you had your car in here.
That was my brother's car.
couple
Yeah.
weeks
Was it
ago.
Swamp Turkey?
The
Swamp turkey. Yes, I was trying to think of it.
RX-7.
Yeah, the old R. I think it's a 80 something. I don't even know. We're like, we have no idea what condition the motor's in. The transmission was just rebuilt because it was destroyed. But anyways, I'm pretty excited about that. I actually could do like some like road racing in like a stock-ish vehicle,
It's a rotary engine?
Rotary.
still?
Yep, rotary.
Nice. That's pretty
So
cool.
just winding it super hot the whole time.
Yeah.
Just as high as it can go.
Yeah, well, they lost third gear, I believe.
So you really got to wind it up.
And so they're going from like second to fourth, and so they'd be like in fourth and drop it in the second. And,
Oh, wow.
And then I think they were one of the guys was like, oh, this thing can go up to like whatever RPMs, like 13,000 RPMs, like no big deal.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. It can. I don't think it's supposed to stay at that level. And so the one, I think my dad was actually driving it in like second gear and just revving, like just keeping it in second instead of third. So it was like it was just screaming.
Oh,
Wow.
I bet. No, that's your dad and your brother, right?
Yeah, and my brother's friend Eric.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Where is that race at?
at the Sonoma Raceway, which is like I think Infineon Raceway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We got to get into that.
dude, I'm pretty excited.
Do we
I'm gonna start
sponsor
looking
that?
on Craigslist.
No, we
Is it
don't.
a big
We
Rough
talked
Stuff
about it,
sticker?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna bring the Lincoln generators.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like one of the welders and stuff. And
You're probably going to need it.
well, my brother was like, "You're gonna be famous out there."
Yeah.
So
All right. This is the last big question. And yeah, I don't know how else to ask this. So what's up with the Jeep Wave?
Oh, the Jeep Wave.
Do you do the Jeep Wave? Why?
No, I
cruising
can't
with
get
your foot
in.
out?
I can't get into
Wave.
that.
do you just act like you don't see him, like you look the other way?
I ignore them.
close your eyes.
If it's a cool Jeep, like an old Jeep, maybe I'll wave.
Some old timer.
The JK, I can't wave at JKs or anything. Yeah, anything newer. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's a Jeep thing, I know, but I can't get behind it.
So is that like the Jeep duck? Like you're just pretend you're not seeing it?
It's just
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Throwing it back.
I don't know, because you kind of wave at other motorcyclists.
Yeah, because you ride Harleys. And
Yeah,
stuff.
so that's a common thing. Just knowing people are around. So, but people are so much more snide in vehicles, and there's so many of them. It's not really the same for sure. I mean, there's catching someone's attention, in like your older vehicle, and you see somebody, and you're just like, hey, yeah, that's sweet. You definitely have common interests.
You like cool stuff too.
Yeah, but then you see those same guys when you're not in your Jeep or something like that. If I have my old truck, and they're just the lamest people, and it starts steering you away from it. You're just like.
So when I had a bike, I remember like it wasn't like this for everyone, but like it seemed like street bike guys would only wave the street bike guys, and then like Harley style bikes would only like wave the Harley style.
Yeah, I got some friends that they don't wave to anybody because they don't they're so damn cool. But I mean, I'll wave to anybody. I don't care, because not all my friends are cool enough to have Harleys. Maybe if that was the case, that'd be the scenario. But at this point, I'm just trying to get everybody I know to get out and do what I try to do. Just I don't have enough time to hang out with all my people. So whatever they can do to get out and have fun with us, that's why I'm not too partial of anything anymore.
So why it's just like super antisocial?
I guess so. Yeah.
Is it weird transitioning from like your Jeep and then going into your Subaru, and like all the Jeeps stop waving at you? You're like, hey, why isn't this guy waving at me?
No, I think I kind of tune it out.
Yeah.
I have noticed when I drive my Cherokees wave to other Cherokees.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was only a Wrangler thing, to be honest with you, like CJs.
So did everyone in the 90s.
Like I didn't know Cherokee people were waving at each other, but it's a thing too.
They discriminate.
Good street cred
Yeah,
now.
there's like factions when it comes to Jeeps, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. WJ guys. What's up with those guys?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's
How deep does that go actually? Does it go all the way just like the off-road guys, right? You'd think, or like you think all the Jeep Liberty people are just like,
ooh, I don't think so. I don't think Jeep
The Renegade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they wave. I bet they wave.
The new
They
Cherokees.
feel like they're
I bet
in the
they're
wave.
definitely
Yeah,
waving.
yeah. Well, there's so many people that have like, oh, my dad had everyone's uncle has had a shop. So, and it's just kind of the same thing with the Jeep, so it's like they feel owed something. Everyone feels owed, like, oh, they didn't see me, huh? But they see him waving each other. I deserve that.
what if you own like a Liberty and like a Wrangler, and like you're in your Liberty and see other Wranglers? Like, are you gonna wave? Like, where do you stop?
You will probably stop waving because you don't feel worthy enough in your vehicle at that
they don't
point.
wave back?
Yeah, you'll be then you'll go straight back to thinking, and the next thing you need to do with your Wrangler, you'll be like, oh well, I just need to make that more worthy, so I have it here today. Yeah, like, oh, that's just on Fridays.
What if your Jeep Liberty has like 35s on it? Do you get waves then? Maybe?
That's a regular vehicle doing what you'd call Jeep stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So then at that point, you'd have to find someone with a rally in a vehicle who can respect Jeep stuff.
Right on, guys. Well, that's all I got for this episode. Unless you got anything else, Zach?
I don't. You guys got anything else?
No.
Appreciate the invite.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate the work you put in, and until next time.
Right on.
I don't think you guys.
Thank you.
Rock and roll, everybody.
ya.
Everybody stay safe.